Hey y'all, December 2nd and 3rd, Berryessa. Just fished a tournament there. Weather was good, but crappy. 50-degree mornings, cloud cover, and 60, 65-degree top out, like warmest part of it. Sun breakthrough with sun on Sunday. Well, there was a little bit of sun on Saturday, but for the most part, it was just hard cloud cover or mostly cloud cover. Or it'd get lighter or darker, but it was still cloud the whole time. That's the weather for both days. Saturday for me started out really good. I was throwing an A-rig, and I was throwing it in rainbow shad. Actually, in the beginning, I was throwing threadfin. Later on, I switched to rainbow shad. I was throwing that, was picking them up on rock points, deeper water, basically between like 10, 25, somewhere in that area in the morning. My partner caught a 6-pounder, 605 to be exact, on a silver spinnerbait, up shallow on a weed line. And then a little bit later on, he caught a red-eye shad in the sexy shad color in the back of a cove on a weed line. And then pretty much everything from then on was A-rig, but I switched to rainbow shad. And then that is 2.8s on here, 3.3s on there. And that was pretty much it, just running water. If you got bit in an area, keep moving. Don't go back to that area unless you give it some time to rest. You could pick up a couple, but for the most part, just keep covering water, for me, that is. And just pick what you can. If you see a school of fish that are on there, you could pick a bunch out of there, but then just keep moving on. And I was just covering water, burning rock points and picking up, and it seemed to be that the bigger fish were eating for me in the front half of those bites. That was pretty much my Saturday. I had 1560 or something like that for total weight. How was your Saturday?
We ran first thing. Went to a hump, offshore hump. Bunch of fish on it.
Yeah.
Threw A-rig. Same color, threadfin mainly. Some rainbow shad. They'd follow, not commit. Ran to another hump. Threw A-rig a little bit. It was a little deeper, so we kind of went to a drop shot and immediately started hooking up. My partner was throwing a Morning Dawn color in the Robo Worm. And I was throwing the good old Sorry Steve, Jackal Flick Shake, watermelon candy. And we were working around a hump offshore, and I picked up a 3-3. We had a couple threes, and we picked up a limit down there. And once we picked up the limit, we started running around, trying to see what we could get.
Change up.
The week before, I might have caught a good fish on an A-rig.
Yeah.
Like a 5.7.
Yeah.
And so I kind of wanted to...
After a 4.
After a 4.
And another one that was probably in that 4 class.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
So I wanted to run that down a little bit. And we picked up a couple fish, but nothing to call us up. And they're shallow when we were doing that. And we started running around. We went to a couple points. Not really. There was fish there, but they weren't really chewing. And about 2 o'clock, I said, well, let's go over towards the weigh-in, because our weigh-in was at 3 o'clock. And I saw James in one area, so instead of going to where he was, I went to another spot and started throwing the A-rig and lit up.
Yep.
I was throwing it between...
Another rock point.
Yep, I was throwing it. The wind was blowing on it, 2 o'clock. I was throwing the A-rig at between, at first, like 5 to 15 foot. And then I looked out and saw them about 30 foot deep, piled. And I'd throw the A-rig out, let it fall almost all the way to the bottom, and then just start creeping it. And once the fish started coming after it, I'd do one twitch, and it was on almost every cast. I was throwing the rainbow shad on the bottom, thread fin in the middle, and one of my rainbow shads got messed up, and I just reached into my box to grab another one, and I put on a ghost rainbow on it. I really don't care what color they are. I could have all 5 colors different.
Yeah.
And they're eating that one so good that I couldn't see the lead head of the choking that thing. It was great. We probably caught 2 limits in about 30 to 40 minutes, and that helped us out. We showed up there with about 12 pounds, and we left there. We ended up weighing in 15, 17.
Yeah, 15, 17.
For 3rd place for Saturday.
I did forget to mention on Saturday, I had drop shot fish, MM3, and sorry Steve. Those weren't in my final bag though, but they were on rock points. It was the same fish, just break it down slower.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to go back to old fish that I already knew were there that weren't as active. And I could get them to bite, but they weren't as large, so I just kind of moved away from that. But the main core of it was the spinnerbait fish 6-pounder, and then the red eye and the A-rig. A-rig was definitely the star of the whole weekend, basically.
For everybody.
For a lot of people. There was, I think first place had 1588, so we had 3 boats. First, second, and third were all within 15 pounds.
Yeah.
Right now is a really good time to go to Berryessa
and learn how to throw A-rig.
And throw an A-rig on rock points, or other known locations like East Side area.
Yes.
And just chuck an A-rig around, moving depths. Go between shallow, deep. They're gonna be somewhere in there, and once you find them, you can keep patterning it. Right now is a really good time to pattern them on an A-rig and get confident with it. I'm only telling you this information because we don't have a tournament there for a while.
A long while.
So don't be afraid to wear them out, because right now we're not affected by it, right? This is a Flash Mob Junior, by the way, in case you didn't know. And then I did try throwing bigger baits, and they were shying away from the bigger baits and eating the smaller ones. So that's why I mentioned it's a 3.3 and a 2.8. You could probably get a bigger bait to eat, but they were preferring the smaller ones. You might as well give them what they want. But like I said, right now is a really good time to go to rock points, go out a little deeper, and throw an A-rig across there and just cover water hopping points.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what's going on.
We were finding bait that was smaller, like the smaller thread fin type bait.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they were wanting the 3.3s instead of the bigger ones.
And if you find a set of fish and you're casting on them and they're not eating, move on, but remember them. Come back later, but move on. They're just not in feed mode at the time. It's all about timing on that. Kind of little gems there in the middle of the video. Sunday for me was decently quick to summarize, and that is my back locked up from throwing A-rig all day on Saturday, and I was in writhing pain. I couldn't throw A-rig very long, didn't get bit on it. My partner, different partners, fishing with Mike Rivera on Saturday, fishing with Big John on Sunday. Big John caught a spinnerbait fish off the jump, like a 2.5 pound smallmouth. In some like sparse, again, that like weed line kind of thing on a point. And then I basically wasn't able to throw A-rig. So we abandoned that. We started fishing kind of Big Island area with spoons in 40 to 50 foot of water. and he was hopping it's a strata spoon, I believe. It's Cabela strata spoon. It's just an old silver spoon, hammered, and he was hopping that thing, and he caught a 380 something and another fish, and I caught 16-pound catfish on an ice jig. That video is gonna be broke separate from this one because it's kind of cool. There's some good chit chat talk on there, and I caught some other, like a crappie, bluegill. Oh, that's the other thing. Side note, if you're looking for crappie and bluegill, there is massive schools of crappie and bluegill in several locations off of rock points down deep, like 50 foot, 60 foot out there. You can find them, and I mean like the size of a house schools, like they are giant schools. If you're looking for crappie and bluegill, that they are definitely out there, and they're chewing. I kind of played with them 100%. A little bit. So that was pretty much my Sunday, was chauffeuring John around and watching him and netting all of his fish. I didn't have any keepers. I did catch 5 different species. I caught trout, catfish, bluegill, sunfish, or a crappie, and a bass, but none of them were keepers for me on Sunday. And the A-rig bite, I knew it was 100% there. I just couldn't throw it. So speaking of throwing A-rig bites, how was your Sunday?
Oh, we threw A-rig.
Imagine that.
A-rig. We went right back to where we left off on Saturday, and it started off blazing, though the quality of fish moved.
Yeah.
We were actually catching dinks as well. So it took us a minute to get a limit. And then once we had a limit, we still had a couple that were in the 1.4s, 1.3s. And so we started moving around, right? We weren't upgrading anymore. So we started moving around. We ran around to a couple spots, a lot of spots. And then we decided to run to another spot that was similar to the one that we were on. And there was a ton of bait. And then I was like, oh, there's fish. And we went boom, boom, boom. Kind of sat up on it and started working it. And we basically started spending the rest of the day working it. My partner picked up a 4, like a 4.7 on an A-rig.
Yeah.
Which was
healthy
fish chewing on an A-rig at 25 foot depth. And then I caught one. I threw the A-rig out and it was just sinking. And I felt, while it was sinking, I felt just a thunk. And I swung on it, and it was a 2.5 smallmouth.
Yeah.
Ate it. But yeah, rock points.
If you find the schools, they're chewing.
They're chewing. Just stick with it. I put it on spot lock and just fan casted. Just kept working around. If we get hung up, the trick on A-rig, if you guys don't know and you don't throw it, you don't have to set a hook.
Yeah, they set the hook themselves.
They set the hook. All you gotta do is just turn with them, right? Don't set the hook. And if you hit bottom and you just turn and you're like, oh, it's the bottom, and release it and go past it, almost every time the A-rig comes back.
Yeah, you don't lose all your A-rigs.
You can
drag bottom with them.
Yeah.
So, but your overall weight was
1480 something.
Yeah, just under 15 pounds.
Yeah.
So pretty consistent.
Yeah,
you had 15, 17, and you had 1480. I mean, that's pretty consistent bet right now. That's 3 pound average. I mean, imagine just going out and throwing these on a 3 pound average at Berryessa.
Yeah. And it was.
So, I mean, that's mixed. That's spots large and smalls.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
There was some beautiful spotted bass coming in at 4 pound range. 3 pounds, 4 pounds. They were coming in at weigh-in. They were beautiful.
Out of all the bags that were weighed in, there was only one bag that had fish that weren't bloated. Yeah. And I'm not sure where they fished from, but they were all bloated. They're all healthy right now.
Yeah. You could go to Berryessa right now and throw an A-rig alone and get your grand slam.
Yeah.
In one area.
Yeah. And not even move a point.
Yeah.
Like
in one
literally
spot.
in the same spot.
Yeah.
So
it's beautiful. It's working. It's on fire.
yeah. It's on fire. Give it a try if you haven't tried it. And yeah, yet again, we're talking about A-rigs. So,
which should be the next couple.
Yeah, and the next tournaments we got coming up are going to be Clear Lake in February and March. That's not, I mean, we still got basically 3 months before our next tournament. So we're going to be probably Berryessa trips or whatever.
What would you guys like?
Yeah, where is there any lakes that are on in the winter? Comment down below for those of you that are still here that you actually want us to go to that are in there. And that's anywhere from, I don't know, Stockton area to just
Motherlode Lakes.
Somewhere we're out of the Fairfield Vacaville area, so anything that's within a couple hour or an hour and a half drive of Fairfield Vacaville, any of those lakes, let us know where you want us to go, and we'll give it a rundown for a day and give you a report on it.
Yeah.
Other than that, if you have any questions, comment them down below. You can always hit me up on Instagram. And until next time, I hope you get them. Catching smallmouth on an A-rig rope for a minute.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shoot!
Bye, buddy.
What the heck?
Line lock.